You don't have to be good now. You just have to be eccentric. You just have to do something stupid. You just have to get people to follow you.
Hollywood has always portrayed Denzel Washington as untouchable, a man of discipline, faith, and unshakable calm. But what no one ever warned you about is that behind the awards, the speeches, and the flawless public image, Denzel has been quietly keeping score, not with anger, not with public feuds, but with silence, and that silence has erased careers, friendships, and futures without a single press release ever explaining why. Insiders say that over decades in the industry, 6 people, actors, he respected, defended, or even inspired, crossed invisible lines that Denzel never redraws, and now, as he enters the final chapter of his legacy, those lines are becoming clearer than ever, because when Denzel Washington decides someone is done, he doesn't fight, he doesn't explain, he simply removes them from his world as if they were never there. And once you understand who those 6 people are and why they fell out of favor, you'll never look at Hollywood relationships the same way again. And the first name on that list shocked even people closest to him. Will Smith, the night everything broke. The relationship between Denzel Washington and Will Smith was once built on mutual respect, shared faith, and a belief in self-mastery, which is why the night of the 2022 Oscars became such a turning point. Because when Will walked onto that stage and struck Chris Rock in front of the entire world, Denzel didn't just see a moment of lost temper, he saw the collapse of something he'd spent his entire life guarding against. Public loss of control, and while cameras caught Denzel pulling Will aside. Afterward and offering what sounded like compassion, people close to him say it was closer to a warning than comfort, a reminder that the higher you climb, the harder the fall, and after that night, the dynamic quietly changed, with calls unanswered, invitations declined, and a noticeable distance growing where familiarity once existed, not because of scandal, but because Denzel values restraint above reputation. And once he believes someone has shown the world who they really are under pressure, he doesn't argue with it, he accepts it and moves on. Jared Leto, the performance off camera. When Denzel agreed to work alongside Jared Leto in The Little Things, industry insiders expected mutual admiration between 2 Oscar winners, but what unfolded instead was a quiet philosophical clash. Because while Leto leaned fully into his reputation for immersive method acting, remaining in character, sending bizarre gifts, cultivating mystery on and off set, Denzel reportedly saw it as distraction rather than dedication, believing that the work should speak for itself once the cameras roll. And while Leto embraced the press attention that came with his methods, Denzel kept his distance, offering polite but pointed remarks that suggested he preferred truth over theatrics, and as filming progressed, their interactions reportedly grew colder, not from conflict but from incompatibility, with Denzel uninterested in being impressed and Leto eager to be seen. And when the press tour ended and joint appearances were expected, Denzel simply didn't show up, letting silence do what confrontation never could. Chris Pratt, when jokes cost respect. On the surface, working with Chris Pratt on The Magnificent Seven looked like an easy pairing, but behind the scenes, sources say the contrast in temperament was impossible to ignore, with Pratt's relaxed humor and improvisational energy clashing subtly with Denzel's focus and intensity, a difference neither man openly addressed until months later when a late-night interview joke about Denzel being too serious made its way back to him, and while audiences laughed, those close to Denzel say he didn't, not because he lacks humor, but because he believes professionalism deserves protection, especially in public, and from that moment on, any potential friendship evaporated. Joint appearances quietly vanished, and communication reportedly stopped entirely, reinforcing the idea that Denzel doesn't punish loudly, he withdraws completely, leaving others to realize too late that a line was crossed they didn't even know existed. Ethan Hawke, praise that sounded like dismissal. The bond formed between Denzel Washington and Ethan Hawke during Training Day was once considered one of the most authentic partnerships in modern film, but that bond reportedly fractured after an interview in which Hawke suggested the script itself carry the performance, a comment many brushed off as awkward honesty, but which Denzel allegedly interpreted as minimizing the work and discipline behind his Oscar-winning role. And while the two remain professional in public, those familiar with the situation say the warmth disappeared instantly, replaced by brief exchanges and visible distance, and when later anniversaries and reunions came around, Denzel's absence spoke louder than any statement, suggesting that for him, legacy is built not just on talent, but on acknowledgement, and once that acknowledgement feels questioned, it can't be repaired with jokes or apologies. Mark Wahlberg, discipline versus improvisation. Working with Mark Wahlberg on Two Guns reportedly tested Denzel's patience in ways few collaborations ever had, not because of hostility, but because of approach, with Wahlberg favoring improvisation, humor, and on-the-fly changes while Denzel stuck rigidly to preparation and precision. a difference that surfaced early during table reads and only intensified on set, where punctuality, focus, and structure mattered deeply to Denzel. And while Wahlberg later praised him publicly, insiders claim the relationship never recovered, with Denzel offering measured responses and declining future opportunities, reinforcing the idea that for him, professionalism isn't flexible. And once someone demonstrates a pattern that conflicts with his standards, no amount of charm or praise can undo it. Tyrese Gibson, when admiration turns into accusation. Perhaps the most painful rift involved Tyrese Gibson, not because of rivalry, but because of expectation, as Tyrese openly cited Denzel as a role model for years before publicly expressing frustration over feeling unsupported, comments that spread quickly and reportedly reached Denzel almost immediately. And while those close to him say he wasn't furious, he was deeply disappointed, believing that mentorship is earned through work, not requested through public pressure. And once that disappointment settled in, opportunities quietly evaporated, communication stopped, and despite later attempts to clarify or praise Denzel again, the inconsistency only widened the gap. Because in Denzel's world, loyalty includes discretion, and once that discretion is broken, the door closes permanently. Respect given in public must never be withdrawn in public. What ties all 6 stories together isn't anger, revenge, or ego. It's Denzel Washington's belief that character matters more than chemistry, discipline more than popularity, and silence more than spectacle. And while Hollywood thrives on loud feuds and public redemption arcs, Denzel operates by a different code, one where lines are drawn quietly and consequences arrive without warning, leaving those on the other side confused, reflective, or regretful, because when he walks away, he doesn't come back. And that may be the most powerful lesson of all. In an industry obsessed with noise, sometimes the loudest statement is simply never showing up again.